This is a tour of our homemade grow room. We have a 3-car garage, so my husband took one little section of the 1-car garage and framed it in with 2x3 lumber. And it's about 5.5 feet by 11 feet in length. And the outside walls or exterior walls are well insulated with an R13 insulation material. And the entire room, except for the floor, is covered with a radiant board, which is additional insulation as well as reflective of light, which is good for the plants. We've got 3 lights in here, 2 2000 watt lights and one 1200 watt light. They're full spectrum lights, which are designed to mimic the sun. And to manage the airflow in this room, my husband installed 2 fans, 2 motorized fans. One is an outtake fan, which is here in the corner, and the warm air is drawn out toward the top, and it exhausts outside. And then on this side, we have the intake, which actually pulls air from the house. So whatever the season is, it could be air-conditioned air or it could be warm air. We do get very hot. We're still very hot. It's October, and we're still in the 90s here in San Diego. And in the winter, we can get down into the 20s. So it's very helpful to have these 2 fans. And we have everything running on a timer. Right now, we're doing 10 hours a day for the seedlings we have growing in here. And temperature is maxed a little over 84. And for the seedlings we're doing, these are the plants that I would normally buy, but I decided to go ahead and germinate all of the things that I would normally buy as seedlings, and they're doing fantastically. We have everything growing in the biodegradable cups, so we don't have to disturb the roots. They just plop into the soil outside and disintegrate. So not disturbing the roots is an advantage. We've got purple cabbage, green cabbage, and here we have broccoli, lots of broccoli, kohlrabi, which is my personal favorite, and peas. On this shelf here, we've got more kohlrabi, and I've planted 3 varieties of lettuce in this pot, but the center one is not germinating. It's probably too warm. But I will be pulling each of those little individual starts out and either direct planting them outside or allowing them to get a bit more size to them in one of the biodegradable cups. Here is scallions. And what I've done in the past is allowed them to get dense, and the root system will allow me to pull up the entire, the whole pot without it breaking apart, and I can put that right out into the garden boxes. This is celery, and some of it hasn't germinated just due to the fact that it is so warm in this room. This type of plant would prefer to have a cooler germination, as with some of the lettuces. And same goes for the spinach. I should be able to pull up that entire pot of soil and plants and put that right in the ground. It'll spread out once it's out in the garden boxes. But the other thing I'm growing in here, which will not be going outside, are these 2 items. This is a bait alpha cucumber, and it is a native of the Mediterranean. It's meant to be picked small. The skin is very, very nice. You don't have to peel them. And it is the type of cucumber that does not require pollination. So it's an ideal cucumber for greenhouses. The term is parthenocarpic. And when you grow these, you should only grow them by themselves, because if you grew them outside with your other varieties and the pollinators come along and they cross-pollinate, the fruit coming off of this particular plant will be deformed. And I'm not sure why that is, but I thought I'm going to give it a try, see how they do in here. So far they're doing beautifully, lots of blossoms, no fruit yet, but I'm hopeful. And the other thing is this moringa. Now I have 2 of these planted outside, and they are a fraction of the size. So it clearly loves this environment, this controlled environment where it's consistently warm and the 10 hours of light. This is also called the miracle tree because it is so nutrient dense that you could literally survive on this tree. It's loaded with minerals, vitamins, and even amino acids, which is not something you're normally going to find in a plant. So you can eat the leaves, you can dry them, turn them into a powder. In fact, you can buy the powder at stores like Sprouts. I've even seen it at Costco. It's really catching on, but it's so easy to grow, and once you've started the plant, apparently you can top it and keep it going for a long time. They're not very picky. They don't like a lot of water. The leaves are edible. The roots are like horseradish, I'm told, and kind of spicy. And the pods, you can actually cook them like a green bean. So we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're still growing. I would say it's probably, gosh, easily more than 3 feet tall. So eventually I'll have to top it once it's up to the ceiling in here. But it's a lot of fun. I've successfully grown other things in here, lettuces in particular. What's so wonderful about this environment is you're insect-free, you're disease-free, except for maybe fungus gnats. Fungus gnats can be a problem, especially if the soil is too moist. But other than that, it's pest-free, which is heavenly. And like I said, everything gets a nice head start. So when it's time to plant outside, you're not worrying about your beautiful little seedlings coming up and insects eating them before they get a chance to grow. So that's our tour.